Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky194, and appreciate you taking the time out of your day to stop in and visit and check out my video. And we're going to try to do something a little bit different today, and hopefully it'll help a lot of y'all out there. Of course, we're here in ACC, and I want to kind of go over what I would do as far as picking a championship or single race or things like that. So basically, what I want to do is before I pick a championship, I want to go to single player, okay? And we're going to go we're going to go into custom race weekend. Now, you can do just a quick race and just kind of what I would, if you're really push for time and really just want to do something really fast and do like a 10 or 15-minute race and guess at your skill level that you want to race against and basically put you up in the front somewhere, put you, so you can get away and not be in the melee or whatever. But put here in the like in the top 4, 5, 6, something like that, so you can see if you can stay with the leaders or if they have a better pace than you or things like that. That's what you're trying to find out. So you can either do that or me. I like the custom race weekend, and basically what I would do is you can only do 30 minutes as long as you can do, but you can also enable practice 2 if you want to. So you can do the first 2 practices, and basically you're just practicing. That way you're not even racing, and you can kind of see where you stack up as far as the times and where you're at. And of course, then you can do the rest if you want to. Like qualifying, 10 minutes, and you can put how many qualifying sessions and how long you want the race and what time it is, and you can have 1 or 2. I mean, this I would just have the one, and of course a pit stop, so you can do a mandatory pit stop, and how long the window length is, and of course how many cars. And that's another thing. When you have this, you can also dial in your PC to see how many cars you can have and the settings you can have as far as and still keep your performance on the PC up, so you still got good frame rate and all those kinds of things. So the 2 things you're accomplishing is you're accomplishing where to set your opponent's skill and opponent aggressiveness. You're trying to that's one, and the second is the opponent count to see where you're going to get your PC to. You might have to make a few little minor adjustments on your graphic settings or whatever that you can live with and still have a good car count so you can have some fun. And basically what I try to do is I would try to be in the middle to upper half of the field somewhere, at least anywhere around there in your opponent. But you definitely don't want to be dominating and up at the top and all that, because if you are, you're really not gaining that much. If that's the case, then you need to change your car. Okay, and that's another option. Let's say you're really strong in one car, and another car maybe you're not as strong. Well, maybe you should pick the other car, so if it gives you a little bit more of a disadvantage, and that way you get some more race time practicing races with stuff on your own convenience at your time, instead of trying to run in a multiplayer or a race or whatever, and you just need more practice. Again, it's learning the race craft, learning how to pass clean, making a pass, setting it up, all those kinds of things. And basically that way you can learn that and do it the right way. That's the way I would do it. I mean, that's how for the first year or more for the channel, that's all I did. I didn't do any multiplayer because, one, I was just, trying to improve, and two, I wanted to be able to race and race cleanly. You're always going to make mistakes. Things happen. That's just racing. But I wanted to keep it limited. So again, and then you can do this multiple times to really get in where you want your skill level, and to always have it, chasing the rabbit. You want it to where you can be improving, and something you can always try to improve the car, improve your driving, all those kinds of things. Once you get all that set and you have that ready to go, then you can go on from there and go to the championship, and pick new season, and then we start basically a new season. So then you got basically the season type, which you have the GT World Challenge, you got the Internet and Intercontinental GT Challenge, the GT4, The British GT, and of course Open is anything you want it to be. So basically, Open Series means you can pick the tracks in any order you want them. It's completely custom. That's where, of course, you can use all the different series too, all the different categories if you want different GT4 and GT3 and anything you want. Of course, then you have the original, the 2018, 19, 20, and 21 races. Okay? So once you figured that out, then you get next down to season type. Now, custom is where you can use your livery, your car livery, you as your driver, and drivers that other co-drivers that you've made up, and you can use that and select. Well, it's going to be the season type, but basically you can move on from there. And let's say you pick this car here. See, it's going to pick basically all these races. Let's go back. So basically the season is going to be, it's still custom, but it's basically custom in the fact that you're basically picking all these. See, the tire sets are, you can't get limited. It's going to be unlimited. So basically all these things, and you can use your car. It's still going to be the schedule of the GT World Challenge, but basically the season type is where you can custom. You can put your livery car in there and all that. If you pick Sprint, that's when it's going to basically be the official series, and you cannot use your livery car, and you have to pick one of the official cars and drivers. So that's when that, and of course that Sprint, if anybody, for the people that don't know, you basically have 2 races. There's a mandatory pit stop, so no matter how long if the race is 15 minutes, you still got to make a pit stop. There's no refueling, so all those kinds of things in the Sprint series. The endurance, of course, is the 3 hour, 6 hour, 12, all those different, the longer races, which of course you can shorten and pick in how long you want it. And you usually got to make 3 pit stops in those because you have 3 drivers. So you're going to have to make 3 pit stops. I'm pretty sure. No matter how you do it, you got to cut. I think you can do 3, maybe 2. But so this depends. But I would do it so you can make 3 different pit stops. That way, it just makes it more, because the AI is going to do that. They're going to stop 3 times. I'm sure of that. So just make it long enough to do that. Or you can pick all, which is going to have all the sprint and endurance through the whole thing. So let's pick all. So let's just do the all. So, but it's the official one. So that means you cannot have a custom livery car. The weather is custom, or you can have real, which means you're going to have the real stuff. It could be anything. Custom, and then you pick 35 cars, which every track has its limit. I know Monza, I think, is 29 cars. Where you go to like Silverstone, I think it's like 40-something cars. So I mean, different tracks. I think Zandvoort's 25 cars or something like that. So you're going to have different tracks. You're going to have different car counts at those tracks. And of course, you have the fuel consumption enabled. All these things. Which one thing, the big one is tire sets. If you want it unlimited or limited. If you want that X factor, then pick limited, because limited will definitely add that factor, because then you're going to have a lot of the races you might only have like for the sprint rounds, you're only going to have like 4 or 5 sets of tires, and you got to do a set change at each race and for practice and qualifying. So you really got to make the tires count. It's a real challenge. So again, that really throws a X factor in the difficulty of it. I did that a few times, and it's really fun. It's really, you got to really have some strategy behind the whole thing. So let's go ahead and enable this, and we'll move on from that. So we're going to start the new championship. We have all of them selected. So now it's going to pick the car. So let's pick the car. We have the whole thing. So let's go. Let's pick the Porsche. So now that's another thing. You're only going to be able to pick certain cars, because the cars that are the official cars are the only ones you can pick. So you cannot, there's going to be other ones you cannot pick. Like right now, I can only get these two. That's it. That's the only one that's available that I can pick for the Porsche. There's going to be very limits of what you can pick and what you can't pick. So again, this is the Sprint. So I think this one is for the Sprint. And then when you go to the endurance race, the green one, the 54, the green Porsche with the lights, because they'll have the lights in them for the endurance, is the car that you switch over to. So it's kind of different. Again, and see, you only got 2 drivers up there, where when you do the endurance, you'll have 3. So let's confirm that. And of course, it's the official schedule. So you see, you have, and this is what they did last year. So this is not all the races, because I think all the races that are in there they didn't go to because of everything that's going on in the world. So this is what they did do. So you're doing what the official races. So you have Monza, Paul Ricard, Zandvoort, Misano. So you got 8 races that they did last year, and you can see one's endurance, some sprints, an endurance, sprint, endurance, endurance. So again, that's what you're picking. So let's start the weekend. You're going to pick the weather, which I'll just leave it the way it is, but you can go all the way down to custom and select how you want everything. If you want it, the variability of it, if you want it raining or you don't want any raining, all those kinds of things. And then you're going to go through the 3-hour race weekend, which you'll pick how long you want your practices, the qualifying, and how long you want the race. So this is a 3-hour race weekend, so how long do you want it? Let's say you go on 1 hour and 30 minutes, so that gives you each driver 30 minutes for a pit stop. That's a decent race. It makes it easier. Maybe you only want it an hour, and you still have to do 2 pit stops. So yeah, it's like every 20 minutes you're stopping for a pit stop. So let's say you do that instead of 3 hours, just whatever. But it gives you choices of what you can do. And you confirm that, and then you go to the track. Now remember, I picked like 35 cars to be in the race. Now see, there's the 54, and see, it's the green one. It's not the blue one that I picked. It's the other one, because this is the endurance race. So again, those are things that are going to pop up that, it's still what you pick, but it's just different things that are enabled. And of course, you have the 29 cars, which I picked 35, but that's all that they, I guess, allow here at Monza, I guess. So, or all the ACC allows here. So again, because other tracks it'll go up to 35. You'll have more cars at other tracks. It just works that way. So I just wanted to show that. Now let's go back. And just pick. So let's say we showed that. So let's go to the like I say, you got all the different international, the open. Let's go to the Open Series. The Open Series is where you can pick. Of course, you're going to have your you can have official car or one of your livery cars. In the season type, you can pick whichever thing ever you want. So then you can basically go to opponent, and you can pick which generation GT3 car, if you want all the generations mixed in, or do you want just the older or the newer ones? GT4, basically how many of those do you want picked in with that? And if you want any Porsche Cup or Super Trofeo cars thrown in there. And then the circuits. So then you have all the circuits that are, you can just pick, if you don't, let's say, I don't want to go to Donington Park, I'll just take that back out. But you can go over here and pick and make your own schedule. You can make it real short, real long. Let's say Monza. I don't want Monza there. I want that the first race. So then you just take the arrow. You can just scroll it up, keep moving it up. And then now it's your first race. So you can move them around how you want it. Completely custom. So much nicer than it was. So limited when it was, an ACC first came out. So very nice. I just really like all these different things that you can do to make it the way you want to make it. So it's really nice. So let's say we got that. And then we're going to start the championship. So it's going to select a car. So let's say I pick one of my, I'll just pick my, one of my cars. I'll pick that one. That's fine. So now we have our races all over here, and see, every weekend's a custom weekend. So now you can basically you can either make it an endurance or make it a sprint weekend, however you want. So it's going to do that over every single weekend. So then again, you start the weekend. Of course, it's going to ask you weather again, what you want weather-wise, and then you go ahead and do the custom race weekend, just like you did in the single player when you were figuring stuff out. So again, practice. Let's say you want to have good practice to dial in your car. And see, this one thing I miss about whether it's low field motorsports or the CP. I mean, they don't give you much time. So let's say you go in there and do that. You don't have a lot of time to get things dialed in to really get your everything down the way you want it. It's really much a rush. And that's one thing that's nice about this stuff. And I'm sure league races are a lot better about stuff like that as far as practice and all that. And then of course you got practice 2 enabled, or you can disable it. So if you just want the 1, that's fine. So you can disable it, which would eliminate your starting time for the second. And then of course you're qualifying. You have 10 minutes, and you put the qualifying count, so you can have it at depending upon how many pit stops is usually how many qualifying you want. So if you have it where you're going to make just 1 pit stop, I would just have 2 qualifying, and that's just, or 1, either 1 or 2, and that's it. And that's all I would do. And of course, race length. Let's say you have it at 30 minutes, so you're going to do 1 pit stop at 15. In the middle. You put your race starting time. And then of course you can either enable or disable for the second race, and of course your pit stop window and your pit stop length. Race refueling you can enable or disable. All those different things that you can basically customize how you want it. And don't forget to put your opponent's skill and aggressiveness again down here at the bottom, how you have it set and figured out how you want it. And then you can confirm it, and that's it. And you're on the way to the track in your custom championship on how you want to do it. Again, so many different options. And of course, there I am, right there. So different options that you can do, but again, it's still only going to give me 29 cars, even though I picked 35. Now at this time, see, it's got GT4 cars in here, so I have like nine GT4 cars, and the rest are GT3 cars. So that way you get some a little bit of multi-mix. But no matter if you pick all the classes, GT3, GT4, Super Trofeo, I mean, you're still only going to have 29 cars. So you're just going to divide the pie more, so to speak, and have less. So it just depends on your preferences and what you want. Again, me, if I was super duper fast, and you still wanted to get some practice, or just having fun with the championship, on your time, you can pick a car that isn't maybe as strong and race there and have that as an advantage, or carry more fuel or something like that that had the weight to have it as a disadvantage to make it harder. If you already have the aggressiveness and everything maxed out, you can do all sorts of things to again make it a little harder, so you can still have some good races, have some fun, and also improve your skill. It's again, the more track time, the more driving time you can always improve, unless you're an alien, and I'm sure they practice like crazy. So again, it makes it worth it, and you're actually doing something, whether it's a championship, and you can just have some fun. Again, there's a lot of times I do single races and things like that, just maybe get a little practice in or whatever, and I don't upload it or anything like that. I just do some just to have, with whatever car, and that's one of the reasons I think I love ACC more than any other sim. It's really one of the only sims that I can get in just whatever car I feel like getting in, whether it's the Lexus, the M6 BMW, or the Nissan GTR, whatever, and just go around and have a race, or just go around and make some laps, or just do whatever, and you still can have a good time and have fun. And that's what it's all about, having fun and enjoying sim racing and ACC. And I sure hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe and thumbs up if you did. I sure hope you did. And again, just trying to help out the people that are always looking to improve, and also, any of the newer drivers out there that are new sim racers that are trying to figure stuff out, what they can and can't do, setting things up for a championship, which is always lots of fun. Let me know what you're doing and what you like and all that. And then feedback and comments are great, and I sure hope you come back and visit again. Y'all take care. See ya.